Here we have two brains, one from a person suffering from Alzheimer's disease and one from a healthy individual. On our left here we have the brain of a healthy control person, and on the right we have the brain from a person with Alzheimer's disease. The things we will look for in the brain in people with Alzheimer's disease are changes in the surface of the brain involving the folds of the brain. In the normal brain, we can see that the folds of the brain are very full and tightly packed together, and this is the normal picture of the brain. Whereas in the brain of someone with Alzheimer's disease, we can see that the folds are much narrower than they are in the healthy person, and the gaps between the folds are actually much wider, and these changes represent a shrinkage of the brain which is due to damage and loss of nerve cells. If we peel away the linings over the surface of the brain, we can see the extent of shrinkage even more clearly. Of course, just by looking at the surface of the brain, it doesn't tell us anything about what might be happening inside the brain itself. In a person with Alzheimer's disease, the brain is obviously shrunken. Here is the hippocampus, and we can see the size of it in the normal brain. If we compare that in the person with Alzheimer's disease, we can see that the hippocampus is much shrunken, as is the rest of the temporal lobe and other parts of the brain as well. This is emphasised when we compare the hippocampus in the Alzheimer's disease person on the top and the healthy individual on the bottom. However, this doesn't tell us anything about what is happening inside the brain. In order to understand the changes that are taking place in the nerve cells of the brain, we have to examine sections of the tissue. Examination of these sections under the microscope will show us the senile plaques and neurofibrillary tangles, which are characteristic of the disorder. We are indebted to the families and donors who provide the tissue for our research, which helps us to increase our understanding of the disease and enable us to work towards a cure for this terrible disorder.